Elon Musk's expansive family and Trump's SALT deduction plan. A look into the headlines. Elon Musk's family. The tech billionaire Elon Musk is known not only for his innovations, but also for being a father to several children. Learn more about Elon's family dynamics and his kids here. Trump's stance on SALT deduction cap in 2024 campaign. Former President Donald Trump has pledged to repeal the cap on state and local tax, SALT, deductions during his 2024 presidential campaign. Ironically, this cap was originally introduced as part of his administration's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The SALT deduction cap limits taxpayers to a $10,000 deduction for state and local taxes paid on federal income tax returns. It was initially designed to offset revenue losses from significant tax cuts for businesses and individuals. Republicans weigh in on SALT deduction. Representative Mike Lawler, a Republican from New York and a leading advocate for repealing the SALT cap, has highlighted the importance of Trump's support in rallying Republicans behind the effort. Speaking at a Politico event on tax reform, Lawler emphasized that the president's backing could sway negotiations over a new tax reform bill this year. President Trump's support for lifting the SALT cap has been critical, Lawler stated. During the campaign, he expressed a commitment to remove the cap. Recently, members from New York, New Jersey, and California met with him at Mar-a-Lago to discuss the issue. Lawler noted that Trump reaffirmed his support for an unlimited SALT deduction, while acknowledging the potential need for a cap to manage budget deficits. Blue state concerns and fairness. Lawler defended his stance on lifting the SALT cap, pointing out that high-tax states like New York contribute more to federal revenues than they receive in aid. He argued that the current cap amounts to double taxation and penalizes residents for state-level policies, even when they may not support them. Everyone can argue about which states subsidize others, he said, but this is ultimately an issue of fairness. Residents in states like mine should not face additional federal penalties for local policies. Fiscal impact of repealing the SALT cap. The SALT cap has been a significant source of federal revenue, projected to generate approximately $1.2 trillion over 10 years. However, efforts to repeal or adjust the cap come with hefty price tags. For example, Lawler previously introduced legislation to increase the cap to $100,000 for single filers and $200,000 for joint filers, which was estimated to cost $920 billion over 10 years. During Trump's 2024 campaign, he appealed to blue state Republicans by pledging to eliminate the SALT cap entirely. However, details on how to compensate for the resulting revenue loss remain vague. Challenges ahead. If Trump and congressional Republicans proceed with plans to repeal the SALT cap, they face the additional challenge of making the individual tax cuts from the 2017 legislation permanent. Unlike corporate tax cuts, these individual tax reductions were set to expire to ease the bill's passage. Trump's campaign promises, including the elimination of taxes on tips and Social Security, could collectively cost an estimated $15.6 trillion, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, CRFB. This comes at a time when the federal government is already grappling with a historic budget deficit, high inflation, and elevated interest rates. In the coming months, negotiations over tax reforms and the SALT deduction cap will likely be critical in shaping fiscal policies under a potential Trump administration.